Hello, this is Charlene with the Southern Gals Kitchen. We're going to talk about dehydrating herbs today. And I have picked all of these herbs. This is just a small pot of what I've got. I've got more to pick. There'll be more to pick in another week. They're growing really well. I grow all my herbs in great big pots. And so some of them come back every year, some of them don't. But I've grown them for years. And they just do really well. This year they've done especially well. But I always dehydrate what I don't use fresh. So I picked some today, and like I said, I'll pick some more soon. I've got basil. I've got some parsley here in the jar. This is all mint. This is thyme. There's a little bit of oregano in here. I didn't pick a lot of it. Then I've got sage. And I'm going to get them all ready for dehydrating. I have about 6 dehydrator trays, 6 tall. There's 3 here. And what I do is I like to just take my herbs. We'll start with sage. You can see there's some places it's got some bugs eating on them. I just take those leaves off because I don't want those. Put them back in. I like to keep them in a jar of water if I'm going to leave them too long. These have been sitting for a little bit. I'm going to pick off the bad leaves. Anything that looks like it's damaged or bad, I'm going to get rid of it. And then we'll have the good leaves to dehydrate. And some of these are getting bad because it's getting close to the end of the season, so I'm having more bad than good, it looks like. But that's alright. We have more out there to pick. The good ones, I'm going to put them in this pan over here to my right, which has water in it. We're just going to rinse them off. Pick them off. These are big leaf sage. You can see where some little leaves are starting to grow. I have a lot of those out there left, so I'm still going to have plenty of sage. And pick this off and pick off. Now, let me get a couple more here. This one's a bad leaf. This is a good leaf. This one, bugs been eating on it. I don't really want those. So I like to just pick through them and dehydrate them. And I dehydrated about 145. Depending on the herbs, some dehydrate overnight. Generally overnight is long enough. 100 and even 35. You can just see you want them really, really dry. And even when they're really, really dry, I'll put them in my bags. I'll crush them up and I'll put them in the freezer just because I don't want to take any chance on anything molding. And sometimes when you dehydrate, you might think it's pretty dry. Might feel pretty dry. But it might not be. It'll have some moisture and your stuff will mold. I've found it's just best to bag it up in a little Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer and label it. And then you've got it all winter. You can take your herbs and put them in oil and put them in ice cube trays. Some people do that. I don't usually do that unless I'm doing some homemade pesto sauce or something. And then I do put that in ice trays. But otherwise, I just do this. Okay, so I've got these over here in water. And like I said, I'm just going to rinse them off. I don't spray any poisons on my herbs, so I'm not worried about any kind of poison. Herbs generally don't get a lot of bugs, and you can see that a few bugs ate on some. That's okay. They can have what they want, and I've got the rest. I just don't use those leaves. But on the whole, your herbs won't get a lot of bugs on them, really. Or they don't around here anyway. I don't know. Don't know how they do in other parts of the country. So you just put these out here flat, because these are kind of big leaves. And bad spot, pick it off. So there's my sage, all ready to go. You like to put them in a single layer. You don't want them bunched up here. Hey, I can see people on, but I can't see who it is. But welcome anyway. I cannot see from this distance to see who's doing what. So there's the sage on there. And then we'll put more herbs on here. I'll go ahead and start a few more. Actually, I've got more sage. I'll add to that one. So we'll go ahead and set this one aside. We'll use this tray then for some basil. Now basil, same way, I'm just going to wash it. I think I showed this one time before. I used to pick all those leaves off. Not anymore. I just put them on there like that. Wash them. Anything bad I would pick off. Like some really, looks like some dried leaves got in there. But bugs don't get on basil too much. If something looks a little bad, I would pick it off. But that's about it. Basil's pretty easy. Rinse it off. Put it on here. and that will dry. I like to let it dry a little bit before I turn my dehydrator on, because I want it to not steam. You don't want it steamed. That's not the goal. So you want it pretty dry. So I'm going to let these, I'll put a damp towel on them and dry them off, and then I will put them on the dehydrator when I get them pretty dry. There's some more basil. I must have picked a lot of that. I guess I did. I'll get to it later. I'll come back to it. Okay, I'm going to show you something else. This stuff is amazing. This is mint. And it will have some bad leaves on it, and you'll have to pick all those off. But I make mint tea a lot, and I just really, really like it. It's really good for your stomach. If your stomach's kind of upset just a little bit, some good mint tea is good. So I like to dehydrate my mint. And I'll do it the same way. I'll pick these leaves off of these stems because they're going to take up too much room. And I'm going to wash these, and I'll put it right on here. And I like to dehydrate it because I really like making mint tea. And you can cook, you know, there's other dishes to make with mint too. But mainly I'm going to use it for tea probably. Bad leaves have to go on this one. You don't want to be eating those. And then I have a essential oil that is 100% FDA approved for ingestion. A lot of essential oils cannot be ingested internally. The brand that I get is. If you want to know about that, I can tell you, but not on the air. But I'll put a drop of lemon in my tea, and it's just absolutely amazing. I'll sweeten it with an artificial sweetener. Then when these get dried, they're like the basil. Then you can just take the leaves off and crush them up. Put them in your little bags and label them, and you're good to go. You gotta grow some herbs. Tell me if you grow herbs, if you've ever grown them, or if you like to grow them. They're just amazing. They're easy. This mint, now let me tell you about mint. Don't plant it in your yard. Because mint, if you know anything about it, it'll take over your yard pretty soon. You won't have any grass, you'll just have mint. And that's not what you want. I'm going to cut this. Okay, so we've got a tray of mint going there. Now, other herbs that I've got, about to run out of room here. I'm just going to lay it here. I'll finish again, all the mint later. I've got my thyme. Thyme is the same way I do mint. Because I'll pick all if there's any dead leaves or anything in there. Like I said, I grow them in pots, but even at that, they could have something. I will put these on a tray. Then when they get dry, I'll just crush them up in a bag. Then we have a little bit of oregano. I didn't pick a whole lot, but I wanted to show you some of it. I use oregano all the time. I tend to dry a lot of it. Pick any bad leaves off, and again, then just wash it. And I'll pick through this a little better. Just wash it, then lay it on your dehydrator tray. About 135, 40, 45. Don't dehydrate them too high. Let them stay overnight. They should be good and dry, and you should be ready to go with your herbs. If you have any questions, let me know. I've been doing this for years and years and years. I'll plant fresh herbs in the spring. I have rosemary too. After a few years, they'll get kind of root bound, and you just almost have to replace them or dig it up and kind of break, like the rosemary or the oregano. You can break it apart and kind of repot the pieces with the root on them. Then it makes new little plants. Some things will die away, and you just have to buy new ones in the spring. But I encourage you to grow your own herbs. Use them fresh when you can. Dehydrate them. I don't buy any herbs. I dehydrate enough to last me all year, and usually beyond a year sometimes. And I'll give them away too because I grow so many. But if you have questions, let me know. I just wanted to share that with you today. Be sure and join me on the Southern Gal's Kitchen on Mupo TV. We will air in a couple of weeks, and I encourage you to watch my show. I do all kinds of cooking, casseroles, breads, fall baking, spring baking, summer baking. I like to bake. But I'll do Sunday dinners, just all kinds of really good stuff. We'll do some healthy stuff too. Even Southern dishes can be healthy, by the way. But I hope you'll join me on Mupo TV and be looking for it. And if you want to be a producer and creator of your own show on Mupo, get with me. Be glad to tell you what's required and walk you through the steps. We have a great team. It's just like, I tell you, they're very supportive. It's like family, and they're very supportive. And the CEO, Michelle Mupo, she is just awesome. So we hope we can see you there, either watching us or joining us. You have a great day. Bye-bye.